A lot of questions for Richard Painter. He's professor of law at the University of Minnesota and also a former chief White House ethics lawyer. Professor, thanks for being on the program with us. Donald Trump breaking with tradition and speaking every single night. What do you make of that?
Well, Donald Trump is free to do that, but he should not be given a speech, a campaign speech from the White House grounds. I was the chief ethics lawyer for President George W. Bush, and we made it very clear that there were never to be partisan political events on the White House grounds. Public partisan political events are not to be held on United States government property, not on the White House grounds. And Donald Trump is violating that rule, and he is causing every White House employee who shows up at his speech on White House grounds to be in violation of the Hatch Act, which specifically prohibits use of official position to endorse a political candidate. He may not do that. And also, Secretary Pompeo, he is on a diplomatic mission, and the Hatch Act applies to him. He may not use his official position or that diplomatic mission to Israel and other parts of the Middle East to endorse a political candidate. If he is going to give a campaign speech while he's away in Jerusalem, he better be doing it with a backdrop in the background that makes it very clear we don't know where he is. He uses the Western Wall as a backdrop or anything like that, I'm going to be filing a Hatch Act complaint against him the next day. That's unacceptable.
Professor, I want to get a little bit more about what you think Donald Trump's message needs to be during the next 4 days. And of course, what needs to be isn't always what he does. Are we going to see the same tone and rhetoric? Are we going to see a kinder, gentler teleprompter Trump? I mean, he called the DNC the gloomiest in history. So I'm assuming his message is all going to be happy, happy, happy?
I guess it will be. I mean, incumbent presidents usually want to try to please the electorate and tell the electorate how good everything is. And challengers, such as Donald Trump in 2016, want to tell the electorate how bad everything is. Now, that's predictable. And that's happened in the past. What is unusual with this administration is the willingness of the administration to use parts of the government, critically important parts of the government, the Justice Department under William Barr and the State Department under Mike Pompeo, as an apparatus for the political campaign. And that is where they border on illegality, and I believe in a number of instances have crossed the line.
And I think what the other issue is this time around during this convention, the Democratic convention, the Republican convention, nearly 180,000 Americans, Professor, have lost their lives to COVID-19. So the mood really should perhaps reflect what's going on in this country.
Well, yes, and that should not be a partisan issue. It should not be a Democratic or a Republican issue. President Obama warned against the risk of pandemic. In a speech, he told everyone that we should get prepared for a pandemic. He made specific recommendations, but that was not a Democrat or Republican issue. I was a Republican for 30 years. I'm now an independent because of what's been going on with Donald Trump. But I believe we would all want to fight a pandemic and be prepared for it. But that being said, this administration has mismanaged this horribly. We knew that coronavirus was coming to the United States. We knew that in December, January. The president continued to downplay the risks of coronavirus, continued to say it wouldn't do any harm, and that it was just a conspiracy theory and so forth. And then when reality hit, thousands and then tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Americans have been killed by coronavirus, he wants to turn around and blame it on China and say there's some sort of Chinese conspiracy. Well, that's just not the case. This is a pandemic that is spread throughout the world, and the vast majority of countries, particularly advanced countries in the world, have been a lot more prepared for it than the United States, and that lies right on the doorstep of Donald Trump.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Professor Richard Painter, we certainly appreciate your time. Thank you.